Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be providing a longer term market update for Solana. We'll talk about how the price has been consolidating over the last few months between these two major zones on the Solana USD pair. And we're also going to be taking a look here at the Solana Bitcoin ratio, which has been significantly bleeding over the last few months. We'll discuss what this means for Solana and my general outlook, say, into the next few months with this altcoin. If you guys enjoy the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. So Solana again has been consolidating between this support, which was around $15, $16, and then the resistance around $27. You can see both of these levels have been retested fairly recently, the price rejecting at the range highs from back here in late February, and then in early March we bounced off of this range low as support. So really not too much to take away here on this weekly chart other than the fact that we're consolidating and we're seeing how Solana is generally holding the gains that it had off of these range lows right around $8. So the fact that we haven't started to break down aggressively from here is a very positive sign, because when you get a 3x off the lows, that's typically what you would see in the bearish scenario. If we were to follow a bear market rally, for example, the price would have already rolled over. So that's really why I do think that we might have had a longer term cycle low formed back here in December around $8. And the fact that we're still consolidating, holding those gains and not losing some of these support levels is a fairly constructive and positive sign, especially since the price had a retest coming back down to the range lows. That was bought up very quickly, and in fact you can barely even see the wick on this weekly candle just getting pretty much aggressively bid back up to sort of this mid-range. So you can see how there has been a little bit of demand coming in at some of these higher valuations, and that's generally what you want to see for a new uptrend to begin. For this weekly chart to get very bullish, what we would want to see headed into the future is a reclaim and break back above the range highs, again around $26 to $27. And this level, from my perspective, is arguably the most important level to be watching out for Solana because of how clean it has been over the years, coming back down, acting as support and resistance. You can see that was where the weekly chart held as support from May up until July of 2021 on this triple bottom that we had, retesting it 3 times, each of the weekly candles coming down, bouncing off of this as support. We had a retest of that level in June 2022 on the first major correction down, following this very long red streak of weekly candles, continued to hold that as support all the way up until the FTX breakdown, that FTX crash, where Solana basically dropped around 60% in 1 week, all of that surrounding the FTX saga. So this, if that level can be reclaimed, we can erase all of that negative sentiment, that bearish news, reclaim a major level of support and resistance, and that would also bring us back up to a multi-month high, reclaiming the highs from back here in February as well as January. So you can see how a move getting back above that level could very quickly shift the momentum back to the upside, give us a lot more room to expand to the next resistance, which would then come in at the range highs at around $48. You can see that was the resistance in the highs from back here in April of 2021, where we later came back down, retesting that support. Also where we rejected at in August following the rally off of this level at $27. So in general, this would be the next major level to be watching out for if the weekly prices can come back above and close back above this resistance at $27. So definitely something to pay attention to in the next few weeks. If we're starting to come back down and we really start to lose this mid-range, then we can look to the range lows again around $15, $16 as our support. But we really don't want to see that level retested again because it was already retested just a few weeks ago. So if we did have that move coming back down, then it could be the bullish scenario would be a double bottom, but of course you would have less buyers because people interested in that zone would have already bought. And a lot of people might use this level as a stop loss, for example, so that could definitely trigger some selling below that as support, and then we might start to retest some of these other valuations. So generally not something that you want to see, but of course that could happen, and we just want to see if we're going to be able to hold that as support in the event we do have yet another retest. With the Solana Bitcoin ratio, this is looking a lot less positive. You can see this is actually coming up and resisting off of this same level, the 20 and the 21 weekly moving averages, which on my chart are the red and the green lines. And this is just very simple here. We have the price below the moving averages basically since back here in January of 2022. And every step of the way, every move coming back up to form a lower high has rejected off of this same level. So if I just remove this line right here, you can see pretty much the same pattern, rejecting off of it, holding and resisting under it on every single attempt. And there are so many weekly candles just coming up to this level. In fact, over the last few months, we've had pretty much all of these weekly candles since January, mid-January, rejecting off of it, and the moving averages are continuing to slope down, continuing to average down as resistance. So what we want to see going forward is basically just reclaiming, breaking back above the moving averages, and then ideally having them start to slope back upwards. And you can see when the price was above the moving averages and the moving averages were sloping upwards, we were very clearly in an uptrend in a bull market. Pretty much you can see that where the price was going up, moving averages were rising, demand was rising, and the support was at the moving averages between these big rallies. So that's what we want to see in the future. If we can't have that flip into support, then my guess is we're going to continue this downtrend on the Solana Bitcoin ratio, which would just mean that Solana continues to underperform Bitcoin. And when I say Solana is underperforming Bitcoin, what I really mean is that Bitcoin, for example, has broken back above its August highs, which were around 25K, broken back above the February highs, which were again around 25K. Going back here to Solana, the February highs were right around $28, and we haven't broken back above that level. August highs being all the way up around $48. So you can see that while Solana is in this downtrend with lower highs and pretty much rejecting at lower valuations, the opposite is true for Bitcoin. It's made a higher high, broken back above resistance, and is now firmly trending up. So that's what this underperformance is representing, and that's the trend that we want to see start to break. Hope you guys enjoyed the content, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.